Hello everyone and welcome back to Faithful to Big Brother, where we are discussing Celebrity Big Brother UK Series 2, and we are at the end of the week. We're on day 4 and we've got through our first eviction and we're still here. Hello, I am Ben.
That's very good. My name is Alex. Hello everyone. Hope you're enjoying the podcast as of this moment and beyond.
And the series of Big Brother.
And the series of Celebrity Big Brother Series 2 ITV edition. Let us know what you guys have been thinking. This is getting very professional. Straight in with Instagram or TikTok or Threads. You can find us at Faithful2Podcast on Blue Sky, at faithful2podcast.bsky.social. You can find us on YouTube if you'd like to watch this podcast in video form. We're there. Just search Faithful2Podcast or Faithful2 Big Brother Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and comment underneath the video if you have any thoughts or theories about who's going to go next or what will be happening over the weekend in that famous house. A drone went over that house, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. Ooh. And if you want to help support... you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of your favourite podcast apps. Again, if you like the podcast, don't forget to give us 5-star reviews. And if you want to help us promote the podcast and promote the show, then you can either go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, where if you donate or send us a nomination, we will guarantee to read out your comment with any comments that are attached to it. Or you can tell your friends, share us on social media. And if you want... Remember in the old days, in the 80s? Remember the 80s when political campaigners used to drive around in their cars with loudspeakers on the top?
Like Michael.
Yeah, Michael will remember this. Like, vote Conservative. Maggie is your future.
No, I can't remember
Close the coal mines.
Is that a bit like a chip van, is it? They put a little...
Nothing like a chip. What do you mean like a chip? You mean like an ice cream van?
Ice cream van, yeah.
When they play a little jingle. Well, they may play jingles. What would be the jingle for a Tory car?
I can't say.
Labour would be things can only get better, for instance, in the 90s. Maybe Ding Dong the Witch is
Maybe
dead.
Maybe they'll play Patsy Palmer saying the world's gone to shit.
The world's gone to
That's
shit.
That's what they'll say on the speaker.
Well, she actually didn't say that. She said the world is absolutely fucked. But
Similar vibe.
Similar vibe. Yes, so a drone, before we start talking about the day, have you seen this on social media?
I saw a little clip with... I think it was Jack looked at it, did he?
It reminded me of the old days. Remember the old days of Big Brother on Channel 4?
Well, people used to throw tennis balls
People used to
over
throw,
with messages on.
The Sun newspaper threw a tennis ball over and it had a message on there sending them what people thought of the outside world. It reminded me a bit of that. So someone sent a drone over the Big Brother. But as usual, people panicked and they were like, oh my goodness. Imagine if there had been a nuclear arm on that drone. Imagine those 13 celebrities would never see them again. It'd be the end of the world. It was like, oh, for goodness sake. It was just a drone taking some pictures that they knew they would get onto social media and perhaps picked up by a newspaper. It was just someone trying to find their 5 minutes of fame. Calm down. But it was quite interesting to see those pictures above the house. And it was Michael Fabricant was one of the pictures. And you just see him looking absolutely dumbstruck at this thing, like coming up at him. He's like going, what? But yeah, no. So I thought that was quite fun and interesting, and almost made Big Brother feel like it was back in the zeitgeist of popular talk.
I mean, that's the one thing about the ITV one where it used to be like there is no contact from the outside world, and like on the ITV one, they're like, on Fridays we get hair and makeup team in, and it's like
they used to do it on the Channel 5 one as well, though.
Okay, well I'm talking about Channel 4. Okay?
Yeah, the original OG Channel 4
it's
series.
Like that was much. It's a bit like, oh, okay, you have people come in and give them designer hair.
I don't think they're allowed to talk to them though. They're not allowed to say stuff.
Right.
To them. But
do you think Mickey's not walking around talking to? Are you a chef?
No, I don't think Mickey would be, to be honest with you, because again, Mickey had no idea what was going on the whole evening when they kept cutting to the house when they were saying, you can vote. These are the ways you can vote. Blah 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 blah. And they kept cutting to the house. Mickey was laying on the ground with his legs in the air.
Towards the end, he was just rocking on the ground.
Rocking on the ground.
What's happening?
Like
here?
they were all sat round round the table like they normally do before an eviction, waiting for their name to be called out. But yeah, Mickey was up to all kinds of nonsense. He was laying on the ground, rocking, legs in the air. When the eviction happened, he started following Michael out the door. Everyone was going, "No, Mickey, you're not meant to be following him." He was like, "Oh, but I thought I'd go too."
Yeah, he said, "Why not?" I thought he was going to run out and just leave and be like a bit of a rock starry exit. I thought that's what he was going to do, and I think he was going to do that. But then I think Danny got pushed in to call him back, and he said, "Oh no, this is a big moment for Michael. You can't do it and take it away." And he's like, "It's a big moment, is it?" And then he went back in the house. But I do think he planned to just. he's been saying the whole time, I'm here for 4 days.
Yes, this was his 4 days.
So
Mickey had his plan, but he didn't quite make the escape he thought.
No.
I mean, there's always the walls he can climb over, or there was that one instance when someone kicked down the back gate. Remember that?
Yes.
Yes. So there's always a way.
Does he have the strength though and the stamina to do that?
No. But that's having said that, he does 90 minutes in the morning and 90 minutes in the evening of exercise, and he doesn't stop doing it because if he doesn't do it, he'll never do it. So he's
never a true word said.
Never a true word. I want someone to go back to the days when people would refuse to leave the house. And then it'd be like, we're reducing your money. We're like, oh, get out of the house. I want them days back.
That was funny, old Kitty. But it's talking about how how different it is. We were talking when they were doing the nominations that they weren't all told to sit around. They were just
shown
in the kitchen cooking. That's because it took 8 hours to film.
I was about to say that. They found out on the episode that Will Best said that this the longest that is ever taken for a group to do nominations. It took them the whole day.
It's like
normally it takes them about 2-3 hours. It took them the whole day.
How could it take 8 hours for 13 people just to name two?
I wonder
if I was on Big Brother, I think if I was doing nominations, I would be in there in 10 minutes.
I'd be in, get it done and out.
Yeah. But what are they talking about?
They must have ruminated and kind of felt guilty and bad about it because Michael Fabricant said that everyone seems to be kind of getting along with each other. There's a kind of camaraderie between them.
Hence the stupid reasons.
Hence the stupid excuses like someone farted a bit too stinky around them and stuff like that. And so I guess that might be the reason why maybe a celebrity walked into the diary room and they were just sat there kind of maybe they talked it out a lot more. So rather it being just kind of this is the person, this is the reason, this is the person, this is the reason, they were like, oh, I don't really know, there's this and there's that and there's this and there's that, and that was obviously cut from the broadcast from what was aired, but that's why it took 8 hours.
Maybe Big Brother was stricter and we're like, that's not a good enough reason, that's not good, and then because they never did give a reason, they were like, oh, fine.
Yeah, but
farts are accepted.
Fine. Farts is fine. We'll go with farts. All right, then you can have that. But so it was like every eviction night. It's always a little bit more exciting an eviction night. It's
both hosts are there.
Both the hosts
doing
are
their
there.
best.
They're always trying. AJ and I always forget Will.
AJ
and Will.
The face of the program.
Yes. Interestingly, because the studio where they do late and live, and also the interview wasn't then switched to late and live for the first time since ITV.
And it was outside.
Yeah. So for the first time,
the old days.
For the first time since it's moved to ITV. Normally, they for some weird reason, I never understood it, they did the eviction and they were like, right, if you want to see the interview with the evictee, you have to switch over to ITV2 and watch it. And everyone was like, why are you doing that?
It's really bad. Especially on the final where they were like, they interview everyone and then the winner will be interviewed on the other show. It's like...
Made no sense.
Yeah, it's stupid. But they've cracked it, so it's good.
They've finally cracked the code, and that is, no, just keep it on the same show. It's fine. You don't need to move it to another. Obviously, it was done to try to boost... ratings to their sister show Late and Live,
but it's stupid because that's a major part of
Big Brother,
the show. And the one thing that they still haven't quite found out is the interview, because it's on the same show. Both of them have to do it. Where when it went to Late and Live, sometimes only one of them did it, and it's much better when one of them does the interview, not both of them.
No offense to Will, but when it comes to interviews, AJ is actually better at it.
He is, and he's a bit like the annoying younger brother. He's
always
cutting in, and he cuts in and asks a silly question and cuts off her question, and then the person being interviewed doesn't really know who to talk to or list. Do you know what I mean? That they need to sit down and be like, your lead. If there's a bit of dead air, you can come in and say. But at the moment, Will sort of butts in by accident, and then the person talks to Will and then talks to AJ, and it's just no. I think AJ needs to lead. Yes. Will needs to fill dead air if something goes a bit wrong or awkward.
I feel sorry for Will though, but because
he's got cheekbones, he's got his body, he's got
muscles
nice
for
clothes,
days, but
he's got nice hair. No, you can't have it all.
Yeah, but looks don't survive, do they?
Oh, that's true.
What was it? Not Gino DeCampo, although you may have. Or is it? Oh,
I don't know. I can't help you here.
The drag queen.
I'm like Will, you're AJ.
You know what I'm trying to say. The drag queen.
RuPaul.
No, it sounds like DeCampo, but
Davina DeCampo.
Is it Davina?
No. Trying to talk about.
For God's sake, they say looks die, but personality stays. Or you know what I'm saying. I can tell you know what I'm saying. Oh,
Juno Birch.
Yes, Juno Birch.
Who is it?
Goodbye.
Is it Juno Birch?
It's not Juno Birch. They won American Drag Race. They got a New York accent.
Bianca Del Rio.
Thank you.
Right.
What did she say?
I don't know. I said I don't know.
Oh, I'll look it up while you're talking in a minute.
That, everyone, was an example of what the AJ and Will interviews are like.
Yes.
Which is why it doesn't work with two.
I'm Will and you're AJ. No, what I was going to say is AJ took over the Eviction, Who's Going to Go, because she had the please do not swear. So she cleverly, by use of a catchphrase, was able to, and you can tell that still stings Will a little bit, because he says like, oh, if I'm allowed to say it this time. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh dear,
because like,
Will.
I think on the first civilian one, they used to alternate. It was her, then him, then her, then him, and now it's just her. And everyone's there waiting in the house. It's like their little prize. They get to do the do not swear along with her. So Will, he hasn't got catchphrase. He hasn't got his interviews. Maybe he should just do late in life.
Maybe he could.
I mean, he does his TikToks where he's topless and getting changed.
But then I don't know.
He's got that. So
we've always said though that there's like there's always it seems weird that there's two people hosting Big Brother. It doesn't feel right that two people host it. It's one of those things that doesn't really make sense either. But don't get me wrong, I like them both a lot. But I'm just saying, it's that when it comes to the interviews, it's a bit bad. I'm desperately trying to find this quote.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm going to say we also opened the episode where we have our first task, which is this the shopping task? I'm assuming it is.
No.
It's not?
No.
It was just a task.
It was just a silly task for them to do.
So the electricity was off. They got all woken up.
That's going to annoy me, that quote.
Someone said, is it a security alarm? Someone said, I don't know. Maybe it is. But no, it wasn't. It was just a task, everyone. And they had to use their star power to recharge things.
A battery.
And because they're celebrities, each one has their own individual one. So we've got dancers, got a group of actors. Who else did we have? We had a politician doing a speech. We had Chesney singing. Didn't have Danny doing drag. We didn't have Daly doing any sports.
Angelica didn't present.
No, nor did Trisha interview, although she's kind of been interviewing the whole time. But
yes, never a wiser word spoken.
But it was a mixed bag. Chesney had to just keep singing his song over and over and over again, which he said, "Oh, I hate doing this."
I know he was doing his modesty again. He was doing modesty. His kind of like, "Oh, I hope." As soon as they sat down and they said you had to use your celebrity, the first thing Chesney said was, "Oh, I hope I don't have to sing my song." Inside thinking, "I hope I get to play my song."
While putting his microphone on, getting his guitar. So I hope I don't have to do this again.
Well, no, and he also criticised. He said, "This isn't plugged into the guitar." And Big Brother, deadpan as ever, said, "It's just a prop, Chesney." Like, I love Big Brother, by the way. I love the ITV series of Big Brother. That Big Brother is sassy.
It's the same voice the whole time.
He's always sarcastic. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's good. So he was singing. We went on for about 30 minutes doing the same song over and over again while everyone had a shower. Although they just watched him, and it's like, no,
none of them went to have a shower.
You're meant to go off and use things while this is happening, but they were watching. I think Michael just sat and watched the whole thing for 30 minutes.
He didn't have a shower because he was wearing the same clothes he woke up in. What a dirty skank Michael is.
There you go.
Yeah, he sung it 9 times in the matter of about 30 minutes. Chesney performed it every time to give him his due.
Full. Right,
full
first
capacity.
thing in the morning as well, no vocal warm up. What would Chris and Ella's...
me up you said that. When we sat down watching it, you went, "Oh dear, he's not going to be able to warm up."
Well, we all remember the days of GMTV where Girls Aloud had to sing at like 6 a.m. or Lady Gaga was there at 6 a.m. It's not fair.
They weren't allowed a
or
Mariah
Carey on New Year's Eve outside.
That wasn't in the morning though, was it? That was outside.
It was in the morning and outside, and it was cold, and we all know what happened.
It wasn't. It was at night because it was midnight.
You're thinking of not that one, another one. She's had many performances.
If anyone's never heard it, look up Mariah Carey, "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Isolated vocals.
It's fantastic.
Love that. But I wonder what Chris and Ella's talent would have had to be, because they don't have a talent.
Chris is a jockey, remember? He rode Donna.
Oh yeah,
he grabbed hold onto her hair.
He was like, "You were right." She was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, she was just going, "Yeah, fine." Yeah, he sat on Donna just to show how you sit on a horse if you're a jockey, with his legs in the air. So he was putting his full weight on her back. Bless Donna, she took it.
It was fine. She liked it.
And then he grabbed her hair like it was a mane of a horse. He said, "Sometimes you need to grab it and pull back to show control." And Donna was just like, "Thanks, Chris."
Chris has been getting lots of moments online, I've noticed. He's sort of the one who people find clips of.
Chris
during the live things, because he was having conversations, a really obscure conversation, but you'll know exactly what it is, where he was telling everyone that you can walk on custard.
Right.
Do you remember what that's from? Brainiac?
Brainiac, yeah.
John Tickle, that's what he referenced. And he was talking to everyone in the thing and no one believed him that you could walk on custard.
Yeah, you can walk on custard.
And then they were doing another conversation where they were talking about Femme Fresh.
So I'm just carrying on with
That's
my microphone.
fine.
You carry on.
Yeah, all the clips, all
Femme Fresh.
Yeah, all these moments were all down to Chris online. That he was putting honey on a glass window trying to make it see-through and not frosted.
Oh, hang on. Whoa. That's from The Simpsons.
No, that was grease paper, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well,
when you put it onto a wall and it makes it see-through.
So Chris is having all the moments on the,
So
on the
Chris's
3 hours of live
is
feed.
a cartoon and
The
a science
Simpsons,
show on Sky One
Brainiac,
from
John
20
Tickle.
years ago. Okay, fine. Good.
And Femme Fresh.
And
He never knew it happened, and he thought it was sexy because it was intimate wipes, and he thought intimate meant sex.
So what, you like rub them on each other for
he was
sexual
asking.
pleasure?
He was asking loads of
Bear.
questions. He was asking. It was Donna, Jack, and I think it was Chesney, where he was asking lots of questions about it, and he'd never heard of it before. So Chris he's doing the rounds online. He's getting there.
Wasn't Trisha there as well? Because Trisha, for some reason, has some kind
Yes, it was Trisha.
of obsession with letting people know that she's like shat herself and she's dry down there.
Yes.
It's like, yes, be honest. I get the honesty.
That's when Trish was talking to Donna and Ella
right.
when they were exercising, I think.
I can't stop, and this is ridiculous, but every time I hear Ella's name, I just think of Umbrella by Rihanna, and it's dumb, and I get it. And please, if anyone knows a way I can stop thinking these insane thoughts, let me know. Comment underneath the video if you're watching on YouTube, or comment on the Spotify video.
Yesterday's episode of the podcast, we did mention that a few people commented saying they're not too sure on Trisha, and I think we had a few more instances of that again on this episode.
did.
There was 2 instances.
Sorry.
You Chip Shop Diva now, are you?
Yes, we did.
Well, they do.
We did have 2 instances. So one was when Michael had to do his star power during the task, and he had to give a powerful speech about the changes he would make in Great Britain if he was in charge. Obviously, there was the obvious ones.
The Tory came out.
Patsy piped up and asked, would you rejoin the EU? He was like, no. That's when she walked off and said, well, the world is absolutely fucked, which I concur, Patsy, 100%.
Fair play. Go cook some broccoli.
He wants to scrap HS2. Anyone who lives outside the UK wouldn't understand how much of a bone it's just insane.
Basically, it's got like 30 billion to build like 2 miles of
one train, yeah.
and it's not been finished. and then you
finished.
go over to China and they're like, we've built a whole infrastructure for like 2 million. And it's like, well, what's happening here? Lots of money disappeared. That's what Michael's referencing, and he's a Tory, so they're the ones who cut.
That's another thing to kick in. But then it was Trisha who brought up immigration. No, it wasn't. It was Chesney who brought up immigration.
Yeah, what about immigration?
And
Jojo said, what's that? What's it like around here? I don't know.
What's it like around here?
And then she learned from Michael.
She did. Well, Michael said that he's from Polish origin and that Polish do what the Romans do and fit in. And then kind of elaborated his point by saying that if you come to in Michael's view, if you come to the UK, you need to fit in with UK culture. Don't expect us to fit around yours. Fine, that's how you think. But for some reason, Trisha then shouted out, "That's Islamophobic."
And she did. She said, "Is this?" Oh, she went, "Whoa! Is this going into Islamophobia?"
Aye.
But like,
Well,
it was a bit like. I know what she was doing.
I get where she's going from.
And I also
coming
get
from.
where everyone else was coming from, where they were like, well, he wasn't saying that. But like, probably if you let him talk for a few more minutes, maybe it probably would have. I don't know. But it didn't go there. And I think she chips in a bit too quickly.
Yeah,
I think it was her way of like trying to calm the situation down. A bit like when Jojo...
I think that was her way of poking the bee's nest.
I don't know if it was a bit like when Mickey and Jojo were arguing and she said, let's stop this now. No, it was the opposite. She was wanting to
I
push.
think again. See, I think Trisha was encouraging it and wanted to have a conversation with Michael about it. But when she saw that, then as soon as she said it, a lot of people kind of got up and groaned and was like, "Okay, no, we don't need this," and walked off. I think she realised that this isn't a conversation for here. What Michael's opinion, whether I agree with it or not, doesn't matter. I don't think he was
going there.
I don't think he was going there. I don't think he was specifically targeting one religion or one ethnic group. I just think that in his view, he felt like when his family came to the UK, because he said they're Polish immigrants, that they kind of adapted to it, and so he felt
which is a whole thing in itself, which Trisha could have probably argued more rather than just talking about Islamophobia. She probably could have argued that.
She would have said, "How would you adapt them? Then? What do you mean by adaptation? Because there is
that's what Suella Braverman and Keith Blake going on about before last year.
But that's not us talking about politics. But like Trisha could have kind of said, like, she could have not found middle ground, but asked him, "What do you mean by that? Elaborate then. How would people fit in?" And then maybe you could see that he might have meant a certain group then, but I don't think he did. I really don't think Michael meant
at least not yet, where by the time when she interrupted it, it wasn't there yet, so it was too early anyway. But then there was
not that I'm defending Michael, I just want to make that point clear.
He's gone. But then there was a bit later when she was asking Danny's questions about drag, and like it was all a bit odd, like she thought he was just some random person who's coming here on £5,000 or something, and it's like, and she was like, he's like, they were talking about him having, he had a PA or something, or an assistant, and she was like, oh, well, do you pay him? And then it was like, well, yeah, of course. Like, what do you mean, do I pay him? Yes, I do. And then like the questions were just they're a bit, I'm a boomer. Do you know what I mean? Well, how much do you make? And it's like, do you make a good living on it? And it's the way she was asking it was a bit like she was looking down her nose at it.
I think she's been outside for too long that she's now not aware of the culture of the things are in the UK. She lives in the US. I don't know how isolated she is around people. Maybe she's got just a group of friends and she just sticks to them. And that can sometimes, you see it with Mickey, he's a little bit isolated from the world, so he doesn't quite understand what you should and shouldn't say, and he says the wrong things regularly, and people correct him for it. It was just the assumption.
For me, it was the assumption.
But this is the problem: is Trisha?
He was not making any money, and he was just a drag queen. It's like
Trisha accused Michael of jumping to a conclusion, but Trisha was jumping to conclusions about how Danny earns his living. She kind of just presumed that as a drag queen, you didn't earn enough, and so how could you possibly have a career as being a drag queen and also an assistant to help money, you along?
She's like, in her head she's basically like, well, you can't earn money doing that, surely. Do you do your own makeup, or does your assistant do it? And Danny was like, no, I do it, but I hire in wigs and whatever. And it was a bit like
it was a little bit arrogant. There was an arrogant tone to it. It was like you say, a little bit looking down, thinking, I
wonder, I mean, she's the one who's had no nominations yet, but I do wonder if
it's going to be coming.
That will come now, because now Michael's gone. I guess Mickey's going to be another one who everyone will vote for next week, but maybe Trisha will be.
Maybe.
She's upset a few people, isn't she?
It tends to be the case that someone makes a really good impression to start with, and then the mask slips, for lack of a better term, and maybe Trisha's mask is beginning to slip. I noticed in this episode that less people were going around Trisha. Like when Trisha was first in the show started, people kept coming to Trisha, having conversations with Trisha, and Trisha was warmed to people. People kept wanting to confide into her. I noticed in this episode that didn't happen as often. People came out to her a couple of times, but it was never more than a kind of passing, oh, hi Trisha, do you need a glass of water or anything like that. She was kind of left isolated. When she was outside, she was exercising on her own, so she was a bit more isolated. When
Danny came to stand next to her only because he wanted to be in the sun, like it wasn't to be with her. Like in the episode prior to that, when Trisha was outside exercising, there were 3 other people outside with her, exercising with her. I mean, we only see a snapshot, so who knows, but we're just going by what we're editing. But like,
we're only seeing from the edit.
I feel like things are starting to slip for our Trish.
But Michael did say in his Eviction interview as well, I have to say, it's probably the only thing that kind of stood out in his interview, because it felt a bit,
it's too soon. There's not much you can really interview him about, really.
But he did say that Trisha had an agenda. He believed Trisha has an agenda in the house. So that's interesting. And when they asked him to elaborate, he kind of quickly stepped back a little bit, because he noticed the reaction of the crowd when he said that. There was a bit of like the crowd were like, oh, hello. I think he thought that if there'd been a cheer attached to it, I think he might have been a bit more like, well, it's this, but he didn't. But he just stepped back a little bit, and he just said that I feel like she's stereotyping people, especially me, and so he's gone in there. But then the arguments could be made that I think a few people have gone in there with a preemptive concept of who that person is, and they've kind of change their view a little bit about them inside the house. That is, outside the house, they might change their view back to the other way around. But this is the thing about reality TV, especially Big Brother. And I used Katie Hopkins as an example in the first episode. Katie Hopkins is an awful person outside the house.
Yeah.
But inside the house, in the environment that she was in, there was someone who was worse than her, and actually it made her stand out as being a good person.
It was really weird.
It's a different concept. It's like a completely different zone that you live in when you're in Big Brother. So your opinions shouldn't be based on the outside. Actually, it should always be based on the inside. And maybe Trisha's not quick to adjust, while other people like Danny, for instance, has adjusted and realised that there are some people in the house who aren't how he preempts.
But he's gone in with an open mind, or when he hasn't been open mind, he's been open to admitting that he.
Well, Trisha hasn't so much.
There was also a really funny moment which made me laugh, which of course involved Mickey Rourke, because all the funny moments do.
Yes.
But, they all dressed up for like a dinner. I don't know what the point of it was. That their prize for their electricity thing? I don't know.
Yes, it was a party after JoJo did her dance.
Yes, a long dance. Not with her song though.
Well, I had this conversation with you, and I don't think they would be allowed to license it because it's not her song.
She said it is.
Karma's a bitch. So it's ironically called Karma's a bitch, and it's not her song. So maybe the original, don't know her name, but the original singer, writer, whatever of the song might be like, well, I don't want it associated as JoJo's song. So when ITV said, can we use it? She was like, nope, no way using it.
That's the reason her song's so big. I say so big.
That's unfair to the singer, because when JoJo released it, didn't JoJo's version like not even crack the top 10, but then the original came out and did crack like the top 10.
I have no idea. But anyway, they won a dinner and they all dressed up. And
Imagine
JoJo.
if they played not JoJo's version. JoJo's like, oh.
And JoJo dressed up and got Chris to do the makeup. Well, she wanted to look like Chris, basically, she said, but her name was Billy. And
or Parappa the Rapper,
as that orange hat
on X. Yes.
And then she at dinner, she kind of, because Mickey obviously was late to dinner because I don't really know what he does. He sleeps on the couch or whatever.
With his cowboy
He's
hat
still on
over
the
his
couch. It's very very odd.
He only can sleep on couches.
Yeah, he's like Homer Simpson, isn't he? He could play Homer Simpson in a live action movie. So she was like, let's just pretend for a bit and see if Mickey notices that I am actually JoJo and not Billy. But and I think this is quite genuine, actually. He did think it was a new housemate. He was like, oh, you're probably in here to replace me because I'm going day 4 tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow. So you must be here. Nice to meet you, Billy, blah, blah, blah. And she was asking him, who do you like? What do you think of this person?
Yeah, she was trying to get some intel on him, which was actually quite smart.
And he was just answering honestly. It was funny.
I love JoJo for that, actually. She was, like you said, she was getting information that perhaps Mickey wouldn't share with someone who'd been there for a longer time, thinking this is his way of getting just getting it off his chest.
It's hilarious that he didn't notice, because her beard was literally painted on with makeup. But I'm wondering, is because on launch night, like, Danny came in drag and Mickey was like, I've never seen anyone dressed like that. That was really scary. Do you think he noticed that she was a bit odd, but he was too afraid to say in case he said the wrong word? Because he didn't want to say the word drag queen, did he? He said, you can't say drag queen. And they were like, oh no, you can. So I'm wondering if he was thinking, this guy's a bit odd, but I've seen Danny Beard on launch night, so yeah, just go for it. And he didn't say anything inappropriate.
Nothing.
If you think about it, this is a new person. This is the first thing we've seen of the new Mickey. So this is a new person since he's been educated, and he was polite, friendly, said all the right things.
Yeah.
Didn't question, are you a man or a woman? He just went with it.
But the funny thing,
and believed it was a new person.
Well, but then later as the night progressed, and JoJo was like, "Oh, I'm giving up on this pretense now," and so she took off her hat and let her hair down. Mickey was still kind of like looking at her, and there was that bit when he was just like,
you got
looking.
Nice hair.
Yeah, like, oh Billy, your hair's nice. and then he said, like, you really remind me of someone who was in the house, and still couldn't figure out it was JoJo until they told him.
When he started doing that, I thought, oh, he'd known the whole time and he was playing along. But no, he was like, oh, your hair looks really nice. It looks a bit like JoJo's hair. Where is JoJo? He didn't even ask where JoJo was either. They were like, oh, she's somewhere over there, during dinner where everyone's around. And Patsy said, oh, I really liked JoJo. And he was like, did you? And that's when he said the comment about her cooking again.
Well, no,
the broccoli come up again.
Yes. So then
she was as Billy, JoJo was asking, like, who do you like, who don't you like? And he was like, oh, Patsy's cooking not very good.
But specifically the broccoli. It's the broccoli he's got a problem with because he said it was too crunchy. Now, again, some people prefer it that way. Obviously, Patsy's kids do because she said, I cook for my children every day and they don't complain. I mean, if your mum was Patsy Palmer and she gave you that stare, I wouldn't complain either. It was like, eat your dinner.
I do exactly what Patsy told me to do.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Mickey's got like chewing problems. Because when Danny when Danny made the mash, it was the best thing ever.
Well, because it was like mushed up like baby
mushed
food.
Up food.
See, that's what
raw broccoli, not so good.
What they need to do then is ask Daly if they can borrow his blender, turn it into baby mush, and then feed it to Mickey like it's an aeroplane. Here you go, Mickey, choo choo. Mickey probably like that as well.
I think that's what the answer is.
But Patsy's reaction to Mickey's comment was
bothered.
No, it was bothered.
No, I know, but she was.
No. She started off angry. She said, I hope that's sarcastic. And you could tell she was getting ready for a fight.
And he was like, no, it's not for sarcastic. Yes. I'm being completely honest with you.
But then everyone around was like going, Patsy, he's having a joke, just calm down. And then Patsy went into the diary room and she reacted by crying because she realised that her reaction was almost over the top. It was really weird, wasn't it? Like she was more upset with herself than Mickey's comment because she had allowed him to allow her to react in that way, and it was so funny. So
it was funny, and it's not funny that she was crying, but the edit was funny because it went from it was a bit like Liz Truss where she said, I'm not a quitter, I'm a fighter, I'm resigning. It was a bit like that because like she went up and Daly was like, don't worry, and she said, no, I'm not gonna let it bother me. I'm a tough old woman, it's fine, don't worry about me. And then the next cut was
crying in the diary room.
Crying in the diary, literally the next cut. So it was funny, but yeah, I feel
we saw the true Patsy. I feel like that was just a touch.
I am on Patsy's side because it was a little bit
harsh,
mean the way he says it and he already knows he's upset her when she gave her the death stare in the bedroom. He knows that he's upset her, so why does he keep saying it? Do you know what I mean? So
but
I think
he likes doing that. Don't forget,
but it's a bit mean.
Winding people up.
I am on Patsy's side here, which is rare, but I'm warming to Patsy. I like her.
Can we quickly talk about the chat conversation Michael, Jack and Chesney had about their love for Channel 4 TV show Naked Attraction? Anyone outside the UK, Naked Attraction is a dating show where basically you show each other your body parts.
Backwards,
yeah. So you start off with the top half.
Bottom half.
No, you start off with your bottom half.
Yeah.
So the lady's tuppence or the man's peni. And then...
when we watch it, we only watch 50% of the show. And we have to fast forward some of it.
When we
if there's lesbians, fast forward.
Oh yeah, lesbians out the way, yeah.
Bisexuals, we can watch part of it.
Yeah.
And the men, just watch them.
We're not greedy. And we fast forward through the scientific parts where they explain why some men prefer having
why
four
do you like a large penis? Well, here's why. Because when you're a caveman, and it's like, oh, shut up. We just want to watch. But it's an awful show, terrible show.
It's not. It's a brilliant show.
But
Naked Attraction is outstanding.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why they were talking about it about being their guilty pleasure, and we're the same. It's not like something you have to sit down and must watch TV, but it's just that weird, curious.
Let's look at men's penises and arses and nipples
and everything, and and every round the screen goes up, so you see up more and more, and the last thing you see is the face.
You know we like,
and then you have to meet each other naked afterwards.
Yes, we like naked people.
Well, you do, not me.
you know who I'm talking about.
But, who was it that said they watched that? Was it Jack liked it and Michael?
Three.
Said he didn't?
Michael, Jack, and Chesney. They all said they watched.
No, Michael liked Four in a Bed.
Yeah, but that was his guilty pleasure.
Yeah, he didn't like Naked Attraction.
Because that's where the conversation began. What's their guilty pleasure to watch on television? And Naked Attraction, Four in the Bed was another one. What's your guilty pleasure, Ben?
Big Brother.
Big Brother, yeah.
The Traitors.
Any other show that we do as a podcast.
Race Around the World.
Race Around the World. You never know, that might be coming soon. You never know. But yeah. Oh.
What? Oh yeah, there might be a Samsung washing machine sound in the background. If there is, just ignore it.
TikTok,
didn't happen. This is just live. So yeah, Michael went out of the three. We didn't want it really, but we kind of knew that was going to be the case.
No, I mean they all got booed when they were going through.
I think Jack got the biggest boo.
It kind of depended on the time of the night. Like it kind of all fluctuated.
Like when they were talking
throughout.
in the house.
Yeah.
Like when they can hear, Jack did react to his boo.
Mickey got a mix of some cheers, some boos. Michael got boos and Jack got boos. There was a couple of people who were kind of giving a good effort of trying to hear a louder cheer for Jack, but it was clear that Jack wasn't loved. But
But I still would have preferred. Who did you vote for in the end? Or was that private?
Well, my 5 votes. I must admit, it was a vote to save, and I must admit I've used 3 for Michael and 2 for Mickey.
Okay,
because again, and I know a few people have said like, yeah, but you shouldn't really. The comments that Mickey's made, yes, have not been great, and especially, and people have pointed out that obviously he said he was going to tie Jojo up as well, and that is absolutely deplorable, and I do not condone that at all. But for entertainment, that's awful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
He murdered him and he buried them in the garden, but for entertainment.
You sound like Trump. If he shot someone, I'll still vote for him.
I'll still vote for them. This isn't quite a general election, though, to be fair.
I know. But I do feel the same. Like, I don't like supporting them. But
I don't support them. Outside the house, I don't support them.
But I want to see more of them in this
scenario.
Process.
And also I kind of like want to see like Michael getting told off a little bit more. They seem to still giving Mickey a free pass with some of the things
that's
going
to change, I think.
And so I kind of want him to see, because I feel like he's too comfortable in the house. And so, you know, they say like pride fall comes after pride, you know, whatever. I can't think of speeches.
He needs telling, and I think that will come once they become once they get more comfortable with him not just being Mickey Rourke but in that house, and they get more annoyed. But I voted by accident after the last episode where we kept moaning that it's vote to save. I thought it was vote to evict.
Yes.
And the first I went Jack, and I was like, oh no way. So I saved Jack by accident, but then I split my other ones between Mickey and Michael, so I messed it all up.
The funny thing is, if it had been a vote to evict, I probably would have still mixed my votes up a little bit. I probably would have given. Oh really? I probably would have done
all 5 on one.
I probably would have given majority to Jack, and I probably would have maybe given 1 to Mickey.
What's the point in 1?
I know it's pointless, but
someone
I like
commented
to mix it
as
up.
well on our. You can comment on Spotify. So Beth said, "I agree on the vote to save / evict thing. I accidentally voted to save Mickey 5 times last night because I thought I was actually evicting him."
There you go. So
she's outdone my 1 for Jack that I did.
This makes me wonder if this makes me wonder if Michael perhaps wasn't meant to be evicted because people didn't realise. I'm not saying the public are stupid. I'm not saying the public are Mickeys.
The British public don't let them vote because always.
Yeah, if you let the British public vote on things,
it's always wrong.
They normally get it wrong. So I'm joking. Please don't at me. So just keep it as bid to evict. It makes more sense.
Yeah, it's much
keep
better.
it to evict.
Plus, you can rally
simple.
the troops online easier with vote to evict because you have to try and go against the Facebook
all right,
mums.
Mumsnet. How are you?
No, you have to go against the Facebook mums, and it's easier to sort of pile all votes on one to counteract something else. But when it's vote to save, you always have to split, and it's just you don't know. It's too dangerous.
I hate it when they mess around as well. Like they kind of chop and change throughout the whole series. Again, this was such a thing Channel 5 used to do. Like 1 week it would be to save, and then all of a sudden it'd be to evict, and then it'll be to save again. And it's almost done deliberately just to kind of like manipulate the way the votes are being counted. It's just like, if you're going to do to save, fine, stick it to vote to save now for the whole series. Don't change that.
They won't. But anyway, we said this last episode. Don't want to repeat ourselves. But before we go, we are running out of time. But before we go, I did want to just quickly mention Angelica had a milestone.
Yes,
we haven't been able to talk about Angelica much. Yeah, we haven't been able to talk about her much. So we might as well just quickly talk about her. She celebrated her 25 years in children's television. I never watched her on children's television. I never watched children's television when I was a child.
I know. We again behind the camera. This is a documentary in itself. Ben's sad childhood.
What did she present?
Children's BBC, CBBC.
Or just the bits in between the programs?
The continuity links, yes.
Okay. So, but it was quite a nice conversation. It was between all of the house, but Trisha was talking to her because obviously black presenters. She was like, back then it was quite rare and we could never speak up. We knew, everyone all knew each other, but it was all a bit disjointed back then. But it was a nice convo, and she got really emotional. She said she changed child
chain smokes in the Blue Peter garden.
She changed.
You can see the little fag
She did
ash.
Blue Peter.
No, but the Blue Peter garden used to be attached to the studios where they used to have to do the continuity.
But yeah, she said like a girl wrote her a letter
days.
and said, "I really look up to you. I'd love to be an actor or presenter one day." And then she looked her up and she found out that she'd become a drama teacher and she's teaching. That's nice. And Danny said, "I used to watch you on TV. Wanted to be you."
I used to watch you, wink.
in my room. That was a nice moment.
It was a nice moment. I wish they would make like a proper, because they always give it a go, but it never quite works out very well. But I wish they'd make a proper documentary about the history of children's television in Britain. Maybe that's something I could make. Buymeacoffee.com/faithful and I will
fund
I will fund me a documentary. Fund me.
Will you hire Angelica to do a bit to camera for you?
Oh yeah, she can be a talking head. I'll get Andy Peters. I'll get Toby Anstis. I'll get Zoe Ball. Connie Huck.
Yes.
Your favourite. You
Very
love
busy,
Connie Huck,
booked
don't
and
you?
busy.
She's never busy.
Yes, she's writing
Her
Black Mirror.
writing credit for Black Mirror.
She wrote a line of dialogue.
I love Connie. Who else was there? Oh, Matt Baker. Gethin
Jones.
Gethin
like
Jones.
him, yes.
Think of all the presenters you could get. Oh, it's like a treasure trove.
hots.
Andy Crane.
Right, well,
Tommy
I feel
Boyd. Is Tommy Boyd still
Don't take
alive?
away from Angelica's
Sorry, well done, Angelica.
achievement, please.
Happy birthday.
She's
and
having her house
congratulations.
remodeled
She
as
is.
well.
She's saving up money to get rid of the
Yeah,
rats.
now we know why she's on Celebrity Big Brother. We know what her fee's going towards. Her house renovation and extension.
She's paying for
She needs new electrics, new wiring, new coving,
much.
plastering. Okay. Jojo was enthralled by it, wasn't she? She was just mesmerised by Angelica's design.
Well, because Jojo doesn't need to worry about money because she's got so much of it.
No.
She's dripping in money,
That's
literally.
right.
She was sticking those, like, she was dripping like sequins on her ears. At one point, I was like watching her do it, and I was like, "What's she doing?" And she was just getting, those and she was sticking.
They were full diamonds. They were each one.
And then when she finished, she just shook them off in the shower and just let them roll down the drain.
Did you know that she's only there because she met Jedward last year at a festival, and Jedward told her to do Celebrity Big Brother, and that's why. That's what they're saying, but that's why she agreed to do it because they said it's really good. Just go and do it.
I wouldn't believe a word Jed would say.
Well, I don't know. They're quite weirdly loved in behind the scenes, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't like them. They
about
creep me out.
Jedward's series of Big Brother, I remember, is that there was a shopping. Well, I remember there was a shopping task, and they got nominated. I don't know how it ended up, but Jedward got chosen to leave the house, and they could go. They went to the supermarket, and they had 2 minutes to fill up their trolley with everything that the house had to eat for that week.
Right.
Do you know what they filled the trolley up with?
Sweets, probably. Or
Basically,
cereal.
sweets and crisps. And the whole week, all they ate was sweets and crisps. And because
That's not the point of Big Brother. I just want to say
because they did that. They had to give they had to give them fruit and vegetables as just to say you do still need to eat these things. Yeah. But yes, that's the one thing I remember about Jedward's series of Big Brother. That
I fell out of it then because it was all a bit. It got very.
It was just dumb.
Yeah, it was stupid.
And the supermarket was a Lidl.
Good.
There
My
you go.
favourite.
And
Don't talk shite.
On that note, then, if you want to get in touch with us and talk to us, you can DM us or comment to us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Faithful2Podcast, on Blue Sky at Faithful2Podcast or bsky.social. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello. You can find us by searching Faithful2 Podcast or Faithful2 Big Brother Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and comment underneath the video with any thoughts that you have about the show so far.
So we're having a day off now, aren't we?
We get a day off because there's
no
no
Big Brother, so we've got a day off, everyone.
Exactly. This is why this is coming out on Sunday instead.
No, I don't know. Whenever, who cares? But
Fine.
there's a day off, okay?
We got a day off. If you're listening to us or watching us on Spotify, you can also comment on there. Don't forget to subscribe on there as well. And if you like the podcast, give us 5 stars. Same could be said about Apple Podcasts or any of your favourite podcast apps. And if you want to help fund my documentary about children's television in the UK, go to, and I'll do a spin-off, and I'll do children's television in America as well, and I'll talk about Nickelodeon. Because that was my childhood.
You can link it to Calvin from EastEnders.
I learned a term called a latchkey kid, which basically meant that when he came home from school, there was no parent at home. And that's what I was. So when I was really young,
Your parent was Angelica.
Television.
Angelica Bell.
It literally was. Buymeacoffee.com/faithful, and you can help fund the show. You can help make my documentary. If you do give us some money, if you comment, we will guarantee to read out that comment as well. And don't forget to share us with your friends and on your social medias as well.
Lovely. So day off, then you can sleep.
I'm going to sit in the sun. Woohoo! Last day until the rain comes.
We'll be back. Hopefully, we'll have our first shopping task next week. More evictions.
Well, you and me?
No.
We could do our shopping task.
Shall we do a
Should
shopping
we record
task?
one? Buymeacoffee.com/faithful if you want to see us record us shopping.
Right. So then, until the next episode, then goodbye.